welcome to another episode of Artco Drone Solutions. We've got a great show tonight, and tonight we have a special guest, Paul Murray, all the way from Port Huron, Michigan. Howdy, Paul. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Art. Glad to be here. It's a pleasure to be here with the famous Art, the man, the wonder, the one and only, no other Art.
So, Paul, I mainly you do vessels going down the St Clair River, and I've been watching some of your videos, and they are just awesome. I love them.
Well, thank you.
So, how
Thank
long
you.
have you been doing that?
Well, I've been flying radio controlled and drones since 1989,
Wow.
and I've watched the transition. My first one, Art, was about 5 feet long. It was made out of balsa wood. It had a single rotor on top with a tail pusher on the back, and it was a chainsaw motor. You had to fill it with gas, and you pull it, start it.
Oh.
There wasn't any computer assisted. There wasn't any satellite, nothing. And if you kept it in the air for 2 or 3 minutes because it went around like this,
I bet.
you were a hero.
Did that have a
But
camera on it, or is it just?
No, that was before cameras. Yeah.
Okay. Wow, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
And
I
and
started off
through the evolution, you know.
I did handline control for a while there.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
my brother had one of those.
Those were fun. So, are you originally from Port Huron?
Yep. My parents actually, I'm in the family home. Both my parents are gone, have passed on. Um, they brought me home from Port Huron Hospital to this house.
Wow, that's amazing. So,
Yep.
how old is that house? It's got to be pretty old.
It's built I think it was 1923, 24, somewhere in there.
All right, almost 100
Yeah.
years old. That.
Yes, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, it's been a lot of changes to it, you know.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
but
Indoor
but
plumbing.
yeah, indoor plumbing, additions
Telephone.
put on,
Yeah.
yeah, all kinds of things, you know.
Mhm.
But yeah, except for about 3 years I lived in Kansas City, I've always lived in Port Huron.
Right. Cool. Cool. So you went to Port Huron High School, I imagine.
Actually, Port Huron Northern, class of 1970. Next year will be our 50-year class reunion.
Wow.
Yep. And
I'm
you're
going.
coming up on a reunion.
Yeah, I'm coming up on my 40th reunion. I went to
There you go.
Royal Oak Kimball High School. The
Yeah,
Fighting
yeah.
Knights.
The Fighting Knights. Yep.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's great. Yeah. Yeah, there used to be a rivalry amongst all the high schools, like East Detroit and
Right.
Warren and all those. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But
One of the CU football coaches coached in Detroit. Bill McCartney
yeah.
coached there before he went into college, and then he went to CU and brought us a national title. Well, it was
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
he
Yeah.
really turned that program around, and now it's like
Well, it really is nice though to see that they have these little spurts, these little where they move up and they move back down again. Because if everything was on an even keel, Art, what would be the suspense, or what would be
yeah,
the
that's true.
the anticipation? You know,
Yeah. Well, that's kind of like University of Michigan. It seemed like every
right?
year they're going to the Rose Bowl, or they're going to a bowl game.
Yep,
And
exactly.
they seem to win, 10 or more games a year. And I guess the
Right.
last few years they've been kind of so-so, and Michigan State's been doing pretty good.
Yes, exactly. Michigan State's been doing good. U of M. Um, they just don't seem to get over the peak, but they get close. You know.
Right. Hmm. Yeah.
But they recruit, and now you've got for a football coach at U of M, you got Harbaugh. They used
Yeah.
to be in the NFL. He's the coach, and
Mm-hmm. Yep.
so hopefully, maybe they'll do it. I know my dear sweet friend Lynn, that she and I went to kindergarten together, and she's a big U of M supporter, and
Right.
so she's always keeps me apprised of what's going on at U of M.
Right. Yeah, I was a big U of M fan for all the years I've lived in Michigan, and I almost
Yeah.
went to Central Michigan.
Oh,
And
did you?
then my folks decided, hey, we're moving back to Denver, so we did that and ended up going to school out here.
Right.
Hmm.
Right. Well, you like it? Are you a Colorado boy now?
Uh, I was born
You're.
here in Colorado.
I mean, where's your heart? Everybody says, there's no place like home. Is home Colorado for you,
Yes, it
or
is. Yes, it is.
okay? So
Hmm.
Michigan was kind of like the summer home.
Yeah, I was only there for about 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was fun. It was a little rough at first, being the new kid, from
Sure. Yep.
way
Yep.
back west, and trying to make new friends and stuff like that. All right, so you've been in drones like forever. So, what was uh, what was your first real drone that had a camera on it?
Well, when I was doing the other ones, I kind of lagged off on that because it was just wasn't for me.
Right,
The first when they started getting so that they were more dependable, had satellite, tracking
right.
and everything else. I got into the Walkira brand
Oh, okay.
because I knew some guys that were flying Walkiras, and they said you should give it a try, come back in because it's completely different.
Right,
So I went through the different stages of different brands of Walkira, and then um, I always, being a big guy, I like the big drones.
right,
So I got an Align 690L large size, and
right.
it was a hexacopter,
Ooh.
and the batteries on it were just huge. It had two batteries underneath it, and
Boy.
it had the retractable. What I didn't like about it, what sets me apart from the FPVers, they seem to like to tinker and fix,
Yeah,
and I'm not a tinker and fixer. I'm a flyer.
right.
Okay,
Hmm.
so the Align, you had to go out and buy your gimbal separate. You had to go out and buy your camera separate. You had to go out and buy your downlink, your uplinks, all those things
Oh,
you
boy.
had to put on the aircraft.
Right.
So that was a little bit more, and to get it to work and to function, I was playing with it more on the bench than I was flying it. But when it went in the air, ooh, it was like flying a 747.
I
When you
bet.
banked that baby, the props on it were this big,
Oh,
and when
boy.
you banked that thing, it would just kind of like tilt like a 747. It just would just bank like that, and it's like, ooh, I like that. But so then I was having all kinds of trouble with it,
Right,
and I happen to know um, the guy that owns Carolina Drones,
right.
and I got to know him online, and he said to me, he knew I was having trouble with the Align. He says, Paul, he says, what you need to get is you need to get, yeah, says, I know you like the bigger drones. That's when they first came out with the Inspire ones,
Ooh, cool.
where the landing gear went up
Yep.
and the whole bit. He says, I'm going to send you one. Fly it. If you like it, pay for it. If you don't, send it back. Now, who does that?
Right.
So Frank sent me that drone, fell in love with it right away.
Ah,
And that kind of history for me. But the downside of the Inspire line is they're still using light bridge,
right.
and light bridge is very susceptible to radio interference. And
Hmm.
we all know that every day that electronic bubble keeps growing and growing on the top of the earth because people running around with electronics on their arms and their pockets and their cell phones and everything else.
Right.
So I got to the point where I'm flying south of the bridge, and I get out there about 1,500 feet, and all of a sudden I lose video connection,
Oh
not
boy.
connection to the drone, video.
Uh,
But I'm doing a ship, so how in the heck can you fly a ship? You can't see what the camera's looking at.
right.
So
Mm-hmm.
that happened to me more than once, and it kept happening.
Oh boy.
And
Eh,
so I went and bought a Mavic uh,
cool.
Pro,
Right.
which had OcuSync 1. And I flew that. Well, I had some other ones too. I had the Air and I had the Spark and I had, I kind of worked my way through on the side. I never had just one drone.
Right.
And but the main drone became the Pro, and I loved it. And the connections were fantastic. What I didn't like, Art, was that what I call hinky zoom it had, where you push the button and it went boop, boop, boop. It
Oh
just did
yeah.
steps. Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
then when
Yeah.
they came out with the Mavic 2 Zoom,
Right.
I was all in. Plus, it had OcuSync 2, which was even more reliable, even more stable, and better distance. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what I got. And so by that time, I had two Inspires. I had the original Inspire plus the Inspire Pro. I had the bigger camera, the smaller camera. I even had a FLIR camera. I had
Yeah.
all the cameras for it. So I
Cool.
dusted that all off and sold that stuff. And now my go-to when I go down, and all those ship videos you see
Yeah.
are with the Mavic 2 Zoom.
Okay. Hey, Paul, I gotta do some housekeeping real quick here. Say
Okay,
hello to people. Big Jim,
sure.
welcome to the show. Drone Life RC, welcome. Flat Earth Forums. Uh, Mel 400 AGL. Mike B, aka the Drone Ranger. And Curtis Dart. Welcome to the show, guys. Uh,
Yep.
thank you, and hope you enjoy it. Now,
Tell your friends and make sure you hit the like button.
yeah, hit that like button there. Yeah, that's true. Uh, so yeah, the Mavic 2. You don't have a Phantom?
No, I did have, but I got rid of it because when I fly, when I was using the Inspires, I have a Tahoe, so the back end comes up,
Right.
and I just set everything in there, and then when I get to where I'm going to fly, I just put the back up, take it out, and fly.
Right.
But because I don't like to have to put props on and off. I know they have cases with props on, but cameras and changing and this and that kind of thing. So everything is in one case. I take it in the Tahoe and go,
Right.
and I've got 3 batteries plus. The Inspires had a 15 to 18 minute flight time, and now with the Mavic 2s, you got 28 to 31 minutes.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
it's so much different, because now if I'm down there, you've seen some of my videos, they're almost back to back. You can see another ship in the background.
Yeah.
So then I can just come back and get the next ship,
There
without
you
having
go.
to come back
Mm-hmm.
and do all that stuff.
Well,
But I did buy this last winter. I bought the Enterprise Zoom,
Oh,
and I bought the Enterprise Duo.
oh, cool.
Flew the Duo with the thermal imaging camera, because I was used to get a lot of calls to go out and help with search and rescue.
Right.
But now all the departments and everybody pretty much have their own equipment, so
Right.
I don't get any calls anymore. So here I'm sitting with a $3,300 Zoom, not a Zoom, but a thermal imaging dual camera setup.
Right.
So somebody wanted it, and I sold it, and now I've got the Enterprise, which is a Zoom as well with all the attachments. You can put the
Right.
speakers and the lights and all that stuff on it, and I've flown it 3 times.
Wow.
And I've got 4 of the expensive self-heating batteries. They're $200 a pop in there. And so it just sits over here, and it's kind of a backup. I look
Right.
at it as, but it's kind of an expensive backup.
Right. I have a Mavic Air, and I just love it because it's so
Yep.
portable, and I could
Yep.
throw it in the backpack, take it with
Yep.
me.
Yep.
I haven't even gotten my Phantom 3 Advanced out in a long time, and it's in that great big hard shell case.
Yeah.
And you gotta put the props on, put the battery in, and do all
Yeah.
that
Over
stuff.
on Canadian Drone Hub this morning, we were kind of laughing like maybe there should be somebody should offer to kind of a someplace to send retired drones to that might get another life. Because
Right.
I don't know about you, Art. I feel like they're family. You
Yeah.
know, I tuck them in at night, make sure because they're like an extension of me. You know,
Right. Right.
so um, I just don't. It's hard to sell them because it's kind of like adopting out a dog. You want to make sure it's going to a good home. You know.
Right. Yeah. For a while there, I was buying broken drones off of the police auction websites or off on
Uh huh.
eBay, and I would fix them up, turn around, and sell them. Or I would
Yep.
keep them for a while, and then
Sure.
something
Play with them.
some, something else comes along. I go, oh, there you go.
Yeah.
I'll try
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, once you get that hit of adrenaline, or you become passionate about flying,
Yeah.
because I was always the big kid. I played, I was a lineman of football. I was a defenseman in hockey. I was the big kid,
Right.
and so when there was no way that I was going to be able to go and fly a helicopter in the service or anything like that
Right.
because I was just way too much. And
Right.
so this feeds that back here that I want to fly,
That's right.
without ever leaving the ground.
Hmm. Yeah, my first drone was a Bugs 3 and no GPS at all. And I didn't know anything about drones, and I crashed it a few times and then kind of sat there for a while. And then when I saw this Phantom 3 standard, got a good deal
Yep.
on it, grabbed that, and
Yep.
first time I flew that, all I did is turn it on and let it take off, and I'm like going, look at that. It's just
Yep.
sitting there. It's
Yep.
just sitting there. It's not going
Waiting
all
for you to
over
tell it what to
Yep,
do. Yep.
that's right. And I fell in love with it. And then when I did that one video that kind of blew up my show and got me, I just started getting all these drones and stuff. I got the Mavic Air. I got a Tello, and
There you go.
I just love it.
That's
The Tello, I got the TD1 controller. Love it.
Yep.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. That guys that get the Tello get the TD1,
Hmm.
and they're very happy. They try it with their phone or whatever, and
Right.
but see, as you can see, I got such big hands and big fingers
Right.
that I
Right.
just can't. That's why I also fly with the Crystal Sky Ultra, the bigger one,
Right.
with the ultra bright, because I used to fly with iPads. I used to have, I still do, an
Right.
iPad Air with a holder for every one of my drones, and so I got all the iPads lined up.
Right.
And but the Crystal Sky is, because then the iPads, you get on sunlight, you got to put the hood on, and but boy, that Crystal Sky is unbelievable.
All right, just a couple more shout outs here. Chris Hope, welcome to the show. Thomas or Tomas O'Sullivan, all the way from Ireland.
Yep.
Welcome to the show. Awesome. We got a really good crowd tonight. That's great.
Well, that's great. There's a bunch of great guys there. I see a lot of those guys over on different places that I go, but especially over on Canadian Drone Hub.
Yep.
I mean, because Roger's on all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I haven't been
But,
there in a while. I think I was there a few days ago, and I'll,
yeah, I saw you over there in the chat over there. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
and
I
it's
really like that. What are they using? Zoom over there now?
Zoom. Yep.
Yeah.
It really works good, and you can put up to 99 people
Right.
in there.
Right.
But between you and I, Art, I think once you get past about 5, 6, or maybe 7,
Yeah.
unless it's people that are seasoned to being on a panel,
Right.
they start talking over top of each other, you know?
Right. That's right. That's right. Uh-huh. And now they've got this other one called StreamYard, and it's phenomenal too.
Yeah, well, between you and I had a mutual friend of ours invite me this morning. I hadn't been to his channel in a while, and
Right.
he was working on a drone, and I went over and said hi, and he says, "Oh, Paul, I sent you a link if you want to come in, even if it's just for a few minutes," because he was there with just by himself, you know. I
Right.
said, "Okay," so I go over and go through the hoops of the StreamYard sign in,
Uh-huh.
and it came up and says, "You are backstage. When the host decides to bring you in, you'll be going live."
Yeah.
So I sat there for 10 minutes, nothing happened, and I put a chat comment, between you and I type
Yeah.
of thing. No response. So I just, bye.
Yeah. Yeah. I probably got too into what
Oh, yeah, he was
doing.
into what he was doing, but,
Yeah.
he made a special effort to say, almost like, please come in. So,
Right.
okay. That'd be like inviting people over to your house and not answering the doorbell,
Right. Mm-hmm.
I don't blame him, but he just got caught up in it.
Right. So are you going to spin up?
No,
No?
I don't travel. I got bad back, bad knees, sciatic nerve,
Right.
all that kind of stuff. And so what I find is I'm on the real downhill slide as far as going places and doing things.
Right.
And I have a wonderful dog here that she just loves me dearly.
Right.
And she goes in the car fine,
Right.
but I can't go anywhere without her. It's like I have friends want me to go out to dinner and stuff, and I just say, well, I really can't, because Mia has her history, don't know it all, but when I got her as a rescue, she was abused. I think they were
Oh.
using her as a bait dog.
Oh.
She's got a big scar down this side, but
Oh.
she's got a personality. Everybody loves her, and she loves everybody. So,
Right.
and she's my partner. I tried the marriage
great.
thing 3 times, Art, and figured 3 times you're out.
Yeah.
So, yep, she's my girl.
Yeah. Well, I haven't tied the knot yet. I've been close a couple times, but
You escaped.
I-
when I look back, Art.
Mhm.
Not now. I loved every one of them, but they all had their own personalities.
Well,
The second one I probably should have hung on to, but I didn't.
no.
The first one, my dad was a sectional center manager with the post office, and he got her a job at one of the post offices.
Right.
And he got a call from the postmaster of that office that she was running around with some of the other married male people, and he wanted to know. He said to my dad, Roy, what should we do? And my dad said, well. So my dad made some phone calls and had her transferred back here, and then she did it again. She started running around with another married guy with kids, and then she left me and went out with him, and went with him. Say goodbye. The second one was a peach. I wasn't married to her long enough. She was a great girl, but for some reason, it didn't work for me. It was kind of like kissing your sister. And
yeah.
but she was a great girl. I should have worked through that, and I didn't.
Yeah.
I was young and dumb.
Mhm.
And the last one was a doctor's daughter, pretty spoiled. When she ran off, that was when I was in Kansas City, when I had the Little Caesars Pizza franchises, and she ran off with a guy going to the Baptist seminary there. He was married with 3 kids, and ran off with him and moved to down south someplace. He was a Baptist minister.
Oh boy, Paul, you just had really bad luck, man.
But I look at all the money I saved. The last
Yeah.
one, she used to love jewelry and clothes. When she moved out, she had a walk-in closet in Kansas City,
Right.
and they were carrying out clothes by the armful off the rack, still tags on them.
Oh boy. Oh
And
man.
she had jewelry boxes full of diamonds and
Uh,
rubies, and gold chains, and everything else. And you know who paid for that?
Paul, you need a Filipina.
Yeah. No, what I've decided, Art, I don't need anybody right now.
Well,
I've got Lynn, my dear friend, that I keep looking to see if she comes in and says hi.
right,
Um, we went to kindergarten together. She went off for 38 years working for the military
right.
and working as a federal investigator.
Oh,
And she moved back, and we picked up just like we were. She's got her house on the other side of town. I got my
cool.
house here, and we just watch each other's back and just love each other to death.
Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. That is awesome. What kind of editing software are you using for your videos?
Well, I get a lot of that. People want to know.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a whole bunch of them in the drawer over here, the big fancy ones.
Mm-hmm.
And what I learned, and I was having a heck of a time with them, because I was spending a lot of time trying to edit with the real fancy editing software, trying to remember now, how do I do that again? Or how do I make it do this? And how do I make it do
Right.
that? And so I just use Microsoft Movie Maker.
Wow. Nice.
It comes with on most computers, and it does everything you see on those videos is done on Movie Maker.
Wow, that is amazing because those videos look awesome.
Yep.
And
It just a few clicks and a few tweaks, it's lighten, darken,
yep,
chopping, whatever. Add the music, and you're done.
I use Filmora, the
Yep.
older version, and it's starting to act up where it won't upload to YouTube. So
Yeah.
what I do is I save it as an MP4 and then upload it from YouTube from there.
Right.
And that,
Right.
because I think you saw my video where I donated blood,
Right. Yep.
and I just could not get that to upload to YouTube. So I finally just turned into an MP4 and
Yeah.
did it that way, and that worked. And I'm like, oh, cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the internet is getting so crowded and so jammed.
Yep.
It kind of reminds me back. You're old enough to remember back when you could get out on the highways and the streets, and there wasn't that much traffic.
Right.
Now they're jammed everywhere. Everybody's and that's they talk about the information highway, which is the internet.
Right.
It's getting jammed.
Yeah. Yep. When I moved back to Colorado, there was hardly any traffic on the freeways. Now with all these people moving in
Yep.
from California, New York, and Illinois, and man, it is just getting jammed up.
Yeah.
But fortunately for me, the job that I have, I work from 6 to 2:30, so I miss the rush hours. So
Yeah, you're ahead of it, and then ahead of it again.
Yep, that's right. Unless I work overtime, then I'll hit it going
And you're
home.
in it. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yep. Yeah, I use Filmora, and I'm thinking about trying this other one that I tried a long time ago. It's called, what is it? VSDC, and
Yes. Yep.
that was the first software I ever used, and this was back around 2010, 2011. I was on the Aurora Open Space Advisory Board, and one of my projects was to do a video of one of our open spaces. So I had one of those video cameras, digital video camera. They
Sure.
only had like 3.2 megapixel camera, and I took video of the creek and the paths and all over, and then I took it back and I edited it, and it turned out pretty good.
Great,
Mm-hmm.
great. Yeah, editing. I have a lot of people, as you can imagine. I'm down there along the waterway, and there's people, because that bridge is that you see in that picture. That's one of five major. It's the second busiest crossing between Canada and the U.S.
Right.
and and uh, they get up on the bridge and they look down and see there's all that waterway where you can park and watch things and whatever. So they always end up down there, and of course they're always first thing they're amazed at is how do you dye that water blue like that? That's it. That's what you call the normal state for blue, crystal clear water.
Yep.
And it gets murky once in a while if a bad storm stirs
Right.
up the sediments and the sand and everything else. But the next question is they're always intrigued by the drone, and
Right.
so my girlfriend Lynn always is saying, "Well, did you do another seminar after you flew tonight?" And I printed up cards that have information on the back, how to get to my channel and
Right.
my
Oh,
name and
cool.
phone number and all kinds of stuff. And I hand those out by the hundreds,
Right. That's awesome.
um, because it helps them find it. Because especially people out of town, you have videos. I say, yeah, I got about 990 now, I think, on YouTube.
Wow.
And but this is the card art right here,
Oh, okay. Cool.
and
Awesome.
that's with the old Inspire on the front.
Right.
But on the back, I don't know if you can read it or not. Tilt it.
Okay.
It tells them how to go to Paul Murray, Port
I
Huron,
see.
right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Cool.
that's how to get to my YouTube page.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the bottom, I've got a shameless little plug for Carolina Drones, since they helped me out. And
Yep.
yeah, because I have people say, "Well, where can you get them?" And I always say, "Yeah, you can buy them. You can buy them on Amazon. You can buy them anywhere." I said,
Right.
but the reason that I used Carolina Drones is because you're not just a credit card number. You're a person.
Right. Hey, Roger from Canadian Drone Hub is in,
Yep.
and someone else.
Drone shots. Hello.
Yeah, drone shots. Oh, Bill from Coast to Coast Drones. All
Yep.
right, Drone Life RC.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. You got some big shooters in here tonight.
Yeah. Bill
They mu-
likes the stream, I guess. Yep, I got green light all the way, and
Yeah.
everything's working perfectly.
Yeah. It looks good. I like the Colorado mountains in the background. That's
Yep, that's
nice.
downtown Denver.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I changed up the studio, and I think it looks really nice right now.
I think it looks really good. Yes, it does, Art.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yep. It sets you apart.
Right.
And I think that's good without getting, I had nothing against all them other guys, but some of them are just too flashy. It's like
Yeah, I
I
know.
you can't focus on what's happening here,
Yeah, they got
And
too much stuff
it might just be
twirling and blinking
it
and
might just
oh,
be an old guy. It might be an old guy thing too, Because I even tell Andrew Pusa Studios, I love him dearly and his wife and everybody. They've
yeah,
always been a good friend of mine. But I can only watch so long because then I go to overload.
right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's wheels spinning and people and
Yeah,
horns flashing.
yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But younger people than me like it, and that's great. I'm happy for Andrew. But I kind of like sitting on the front porch just talking.
right. Mm-hmm. Well, one of the things I missed about Michigan is I'm a fisherman, and when I saw
Oh,
your videos there, I'm like, oh man, if I could go fishing down there, I bet the walleye fishing would be just kicking down there. It'd be lit, man. It'd be
yeah,
lit.
yeah, yeah. In fact, every time I go down there, when I'm on the north side of the bridge, so even on the south side of the bridge, but the north side of the bridge is where it's the narrowest, because they
Right.
built the bridge on the narrow. And there's guys fishing there all the time, and they're just yanking them in left and right, big ones,
Mm-hmm.
bringing them
Yep.
in.
And the nice thing, well, you got Lake Huron and then Lake St Clair downstream.
Yep.
Lake St Clair probably has the most diverse fish population because
Yep. Yep. A
they
lot of
get
perch and stuff like. Yep.
they got salmon, they've got trout, they've
Perch.
got
Yep.
muskie, they've got pike, they've got walleye,
Yep.
smallmouth bass,
Yep.
largemouth
Yep.
bass,
Yep.
every
Yep.
kind of sunfish,
Yeah,
catfish,
and you can,
carp.
and what I find funny is as I know people that fish. I personally haven't fished in years, but you know, there's certain spots you go to, you can almost decide what you want to fish for.
Yeah,
And you
that's
go to
right.
one spot that's great for trout, another spot it's great for perch, another spot it's great for walleye, another spot's great for northern pike, you
Yeah.
know.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Have you been to my fishing channel?
Yeah, I've perused it. Yes.
Okay, yeah, I've got some interesting underwater video lately.
Yes, you have. You have.
Hmm.
We get that camera right down there and looking around.
Yeah.
I've been kind of waiting for Art to get his remote control sub
Oh yeah,
drone, underwater drone.
somebody I think that's watching tonight got an underwater drone. That's and I'm like, oh, I can't wait to see the video from
I
that.
think didn't Curtis Dart say he was getting one
I
or
think it's either Curtis or Ed Ricker.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those two. So,
Oh, Philly Mike's in the house.
hey, Mike is in the house.
The
All right,
original
cool.
Wild Man. The Wild Man's here.
Wow, look at that dynamic range,
Yes, it
man.
is.
It's freaking unbelievable.
Yeah, Mike's always after me to keep me straightened out, and uh, he's a great guy, though.
Yeah, yes, he is. I've had him
Well,
on.
everybody in the chat
Right.
is really nice, and you know, it really is what I found. Art, for the most part, we'll have disagreements among us on issues,
Right.
but it's like a family. You know, you get together, and you know, you don't may not all disagree, but you can agree that you know we're all in it, in the world together.
Right. All right, I want to play a short video that I just posted today. You know, I have my own website, Artco Drone Services,
Yep.
and I'm trying to get into real estate flying. So this is a
Okay.
one of my first, you know, runs at doing real estate. So let's
Yeah.
take a look.
All right.
All
Very
right.
nice, Art. You did a
Yeah.
good job. It was windy, and the only if you want a critique from me would
Okay.
be the white pickup truck shouldn't have been in the driveway, and
Well,
the two cars parked at the curb shouldn't have been there either. But other than that, I liked the way you ascended, and it was windy, and the way you ascended and panned around.
hmm
The only thing I would have added, because I've done some real estate. The only thing I would have added is maybe a dramatic pull away shot
Right.
where it shows the whole vista of everything,
Right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But that was great for your first
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. That was a friend of mine's house. He let me
Yeah.
do it, so I really had no say over the
Yeah. Yeah.
vehicles,
Yeah.
and so
Yeah. Yeah.
I just
Yep.
wanted to put that so I could add that to my
Sure.
port.
To your repertoire. Yep.
Yep, that's right. I've got some photos that I took of some nice houses. This is back at my
Yeah.
sister's old neighborhood in Golden.
Sure.
The photographs, and those turned out really good. That is an ND32 filter. No
Okay.
adjustment in editing, other than the
Fantastic. Yeah.
the transitions. Those are the only.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because as you know, Art, and that's what I was going to say before. When I talk to the people down there, I says this is the fun part of flying, is doing the flying and shooting the video.
Right.
Now the hard part when you go back home and you spend the 2 hours editing, chopping, adding music and all that kind
Right.
of stuff,
Mhm.
and then upload, download, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But yeah,
Yeah, this video, the whole thing was close to 9 minutes long, and this only lasted a minute and 34 seconds. So
oh yeah,
I
yeah,
cut
yeah,
out a lot of stuff that I'd already done. I
redundant.
did
Yeah,
about 2 or 3 orbits of the house, and
sure.
yep,
Always pick the best. Go with the best. Yep.
yep, that's what I did, and
Yeah. Well,
so
until you fly a drone and you do any kind of serious video, um, we all used to laugh about on the cutting room floor and everything.
mhm,
Now we get to experience it. But the
mhm,
hard part is that's part of us is on the floor.
yeah, yeah, that's right. Hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was great, Art.
Hmm.
You keep going, and you'll be on homes of the famous, world famous, and rich and famous.
Rich, well, hope so.
Yeah.
So you've done. Have you found that the real estate market for drones has kind of slowed down or dried up?
Well, it's kind of soft because I'll tell you why. There's a lot of people flying and doing them with drones on their own illegally.
Uh,
They're not 107 pilots. They either have a nephew or a cousin or a brother or whatever
right.
that's just flying a drone, and they're happy to death to get $50 in their hand or whatever,
Right.
And as long as the FAA doesn't have the ability or the desire to go out and really slap some everybody's fingers,
Right.
they're going to pick and choose. They're going to look for like a big real estate company in, let's say, Chicago, that
Mhm.
is doing it regularly without being licensed. They'll
Right.
get the big fun,
Mhm.
So,
That's true.
but there's always another way, and the real estate agents, I know several of them don't have 107s, but they're flying and using the video.
Well, if you tell them, if you're caught, that's a $11,000 fine
Yeah.
for
Oh yeah.
you,
Yep.
$1,100 fine for your pilot.
Yep.
So can
Hey,
you?
here's an interesting thing, just so you know, though. Do you know that you can go out there and say, okay, give me $50, you fly, you do, you edit, you whatever, and I'm the 107 pilot that's going to stand here and keep an eye on you.
Oh, right.
Because it allows them to fly under your license and your supervision as long as you are there.
Right. Mm-hmm. Oh, I never
And so
thought
you
of
could
that.
tell all those real estate people, hey, if you got another guy, whatever, save yourself the big hassles, the big fines or whatever. And you could even make a little waiver that says, yes, you were there on this date and you supervised that flight at
Right.
this location, and hand it to them at $50, please.
There you go. There you go. Hey, also want to say hi to Lloyd, the grumpy vlogger. Welcome
Yeah,
to the
there's Lloyd.
show. All right. So what kind of computer are you using to do your editing on?
Well, I've got several computers, but I do most of my editing on this one over here, and it's a HP 24-inch all-in-one
Right?
with a 5 terabyte hard drive and all the
Wow.
goodies. And the one I'm talking to you on now, I'm kind of impressed with. This is a 20-inch HP,
Mhm.
and it's a refurb like new. There's not a mark on it,
Wow.
and I got it. I got it on eBay, or was it Amazon? $299.99
Wow.
with a 1 terabyte hard drive and all the goodies.
What what kind of processor? An i7?
Yeah,
Okay.
yep, for
Yep.
299.
Well,
So I use that just for
right. Doing
stuff.
your yeah. Okay. Yep. Well,
Yep,
this machine is a Dell Inspiron 580.
Inspirit.
This is
Yep,
my workhorse. It does my live stream. It does my
yep,
editing
yep,
and everything. And it's got a 1 terabyte hard drive in it. It's got
yep,
a 256 gig S SD drive in it,
yeah,
and I'm maxed out on my memory. I have two external hard drives. One's a 500 gig, and the other one's 400 gig. The 400 gig still has a lot of room left on it, but yeah, when I put
yeah,
Windows 10 on it, I don't know what it did, but it
yeah,
just
yeah.
sucked up that 1 terabyte hard drive.
I just added this spring. I've got an 8 terabyte desktop external one, and I
Wow.
moved up because all of my videos I hate to get rid of them, you know. So
Yeah.
I've
Hmm.
got I've got them also. I got to take them off the one computer
Right. And put
because I have 6 terabyte over there, and so I had to send it over there, and so now I'm fresh
right.
over here, but
Yep. I've got enough.
it's we live in a thirsty world for our
Yeah.
storage capacity.
That's right.
And I
I've
know
got.
you guys that are pros that do all the live streaming and that kind of stuff. You guys all everybody I know they've spent a lot of time and a lot of money on getting the best computers they can get because you have to have.
Right. I think I got this machine. I got it on a police auction website. I think I spent, oh, what, 150 on it. And I love it. The only upgrade I did is I put the SSD drive in it. And
Yeah,
then
there
I
you go.
upgraded the CPU from an i3 to an i5.
Yep.
And it's working great. My other
Yeah.
machine, I have a gaming PC that I got for $100 off of a
There you go.
police auction website. It didn't have a hard drive in it, but somebody gave me a 4 terabyte hard drive, and I
There you
put that
go.
in there, and I've got Linux on it.
Sure.
So I'm thinking about maybe switching over and just use the Linux machine and possibly use OBS, and I could do my live streaming from that.
Sure. Sure.
So,
Yep.
I'm still
Well,
thinking it'd be nice
whatever
to.
whatever you're doing, Art, it's working. Don't change a thing.
Right, okay,
You can change the equipment, but your style. This is your style, and I think
right.
it's great.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So, oh, anyway, I worked in, I was a stand-up comic, and are there any comedy clubs in Port Huron?
They have Lynch's downtown that once in a while has comedy and have
Okay,
acts in them. But Lynch's is it's typical hometown bar,
right, mm-hmm,
Irish Lynch, of course, Lynch's bar,
right,
and he puts out advertising. So and so is going to be here,
right,
you know,
right.
and
I haven't
McMorrin.
worked in Port Huron, but I've been to Saginaw, I've been to oh, Grand, oh God, what? Some little town outside of Flint that's right on I-75. Uh, I think it's Grand Blanc. I'm not sure. But I've worked all over the Detroit area, Royal Oak, uh, Holly, Michigan, Linden, Michigan.
Oh yeah, yep, yep.
I've been to Alpena, St. Ignatz,
You know
St.
your way around.
Sault Ste.
You know your
Marie.
way around. You
Yes,
you you should have done a gig here during the Mackinac boat races, which was 2 weekends ago.
right. And I've been to Negaunee, Michigan,
Yeah.
which was fun. And that the funny thing about that, I was doing that show, and right when I was finishing up the show, I noticed this guy in the back with red hair that kind of looked familiar. And I came up to him and I said, "Are you Randy Conroy?" And it was someone that I knew from high school. So
Isn't that funny how I get to an age and a stage of life where I recognize people more by their eyes than anything else because the body changes.
right.
It's their eyes or their look or whatever, something. I have to. Somebody will come up to me and say, "Do you remember me?" And I have to. Oh yeah. And it's not that my eyes are bad. It's just that this part of you all everybody changes.
Yeah. Yep. Your face changes, and
Yep.
yep.
Exactly.
Either they're physically they've changed, or they haven't changed, and they still look really good. I've seen some high school classmates at previous reunions. I'm like, they look better than they did in high school, and I'm like, oh, awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Exactly. Have you seen Philly Drone Mike in his daily exercise routines?
Yes, I watch that once
Hey,
in a while, and
he's a wild man. I'll tell
oh
you
yeah.
that.
Hmm.
In fact, it was so funny. He got a chance. Those guys, Lawrence and Herman, were in Philadelphia, and not in Philadelphia. Were in Philadelphia. Yeah, they were in Philadelphia, and they were calling him because they were meeting Billy Kyle, and they were going to fly.
Right.
And he was doing his routine, on the treadmill. He told everybody, "Gotta go," and he signed off, and he went. And he hit the door. He was so excited. He was running around like a madman. And he locked his drones and everything in the car and couldn't get in the car. And so he had to take his other car and go down and meet him. And he didn't have his drones with him. They were all locked in the car at home. And
Oh
oh,
man. Oh man, that's
and
fun.
and to hear Lawrence and Herman tell the story, they could hear him yelling and screaming across the parking lot before they could ever see him. He was going, "Oh my God! Oh my God!"
Now, I think I just saw him. I think it was yesterday. He was flying around the SS America.
Yep, yep,
Oh
yep,
man, that's a neat boat to
yep.
fly
Yeah,
around.
he's got a lot of neat stuff to fly there.
Oh, and the
He's got the
USS,
the
the
battleship
battleship.
across the
Oh
harbor. Yep,
man, I'm like,
yep.
oh,
And then
I'm
he's
so.
then he's got one on the Philadelphia side
Yep,
is the
the
is
Olympia.
the was that the war of between the U.S. and Mexico or what?
No, it was the Spanish American War. It was the
Spanish American War.
USS
Yep,
Olympia. It was an
Olympia.
armored
Yep.
cruiser. Yeah.
And I'm trying to figure out, maybe just on the inside of that, it looks like an old nuclear submarine. I don't know if it was the Nautilus or what's there.
No, the Nautilus has been scrapped. It
Okay,
might have
because
been
there's a submarine that looks like the Nautilus is just on the inboard side towards shore of that. When he
Wow.
flies over, he doesn't make a big deal out of it, but you can see it there.
Hmm. Well, Paul, it's about that time that we got to do
Hey,
my
I enjoyed it,
art.
Art.
No,
You're
no,
you're
wait a
fun to
minute.
talk
This
to.
is this is art Mataz. You know,
Yep,
Ken's got razzmatazz. I
yep.
have art Mataz. So here we go. And then I gotta turn the music on for that. Where is? Ah, and I forgot to turn the sound on. Oh yeah. Oh, wasn't that relaxing? And I also brought my Ken Heron doll.
Ah, there you
Yeah.
go.
This is what I was using to squeeze when I was donating blood.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
That'll work.
So, yep.
Hey,
That.
Art. I have a therapy doll myself.
Oh.
They used to sell those, and I bought it for my mother. She had Alzheimer and dementia at the end.
Oh, boy.
And if you squeeze the little toe on it, it's a big blue thing. And if you squeeze the toe, it says in a very calming voice, "Everything will be all right."
Wow.
Yep.
So yeah, Mike's got a lot of really neat ships down there on the river
Oh, he
there. He's
does.
got that
He does.
sailing ships and wow. I don't know what they're going to do with the SS America. I don't know if they're going to make that into a floating.
Yeah,
Float,
museum or what? Yeah, I don't.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because it didn't look like they had tours on board. And I might be wrong. Mike might know, but
Right.
um, all the excitement is across the other side of the river at the battleship.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the one I want to see. I'm a big battleship buff, and
Yep,
uh,
yep.
I was down in
Well,
Texas.
looks like they're taking good care of it.
Yep, I was down in Texas, and I went to San Jacinto Park to see the battleship Texas, and it was in Galveston being fixed up. So I
Ah,
missed that, and that's the only well, it was pre World War One battleship that's still surviving.
yep,
Yep,
yep.
and
Yeah, that's part of the history that I hope that they maintain.
yep, me
Uh,
too.
the, the future generations need to understand the hundreds of thousands of people that gave their lives in order to keep us where we're at today.
Right. hmm I've been on the USS Massachusetts, and I've been by its sister ship, the Alabama, when I've driven by that on the highway going from Florida over
Right?
to New Orleans, and that's quite a ship as well.
Sure.
hmm
Yep. Yeah, they are. In the Great Lakes up in Wisconsin, they build the littoral combat patrol ships,
Right?
and so every once in a while they come when they're heading out for service. They come by here, and I'm lucky enough to be able to
Awesome.
video those.
hmm
In fact, the one time I videoed the one ship, and I had the Inspire, and it was off on the side, and the gunner was on the guns on the left hand side, the Canadian side, and saw me and spun right around and aimed it right at me. It's like, oh.
Yep, better get the heck out of here.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
But
Well,
I'm sure they were just protecting the ship, you know.
yeah. All right. As you know, I like chocolates too. So, if you have a drone you don't want or that's broken, you could send it to me at this address: Art Carlson, 5557 West 79th Avenue, Apartment 3, Arvada, Colorado 80003. Did I say I like chocolates too? Alrighty.
And everybody show Art some love.
There you go. So, Paul, it's been awesome having you on the show.
Thank you, Art. It's been a delight. You're a great host. You just keep doing what you're doing. Don't succumb to all the glitz and glamour and the other stuff that some, others do.
Yep.
It's all about your personality. That was the difference when you were doing comedy.
That's
right. Some people just don't have that ability.
Right.
You've got it, my friend. So.
All right. Well, thank you, and catch you next time. And you have a great weekend, everybody in the chat. I'm gonna start the timer, and I'll
hit the like button before you leave.
All right. Good night, Paul. Take care.
Good night, Art. Take care.